The best part of waking up, soup mix in your cup. I feel like we're missing something here. A craft and some water. Sprucestomper here, live from the boathouse. Thought it'd be fun if we carved something out of wood together today. Now, if we're real technical about this and we take our basic design off of what's available to us, well, seems that we need something that's fairly long and wide enough so it should be a stable craft. It is so freaking tippy. Oh yeah, look at that. Wider than it is tall. That could float our boat. Well, based upon my extensive boat building experience and research, I think what we're gonna do is build a craft in the sense of the dugout canoe. How traditional. Really get to the root of it here. And this baby, look at that. I think that will float. I bet if we shoved it in the lake as is, it would float. But where would we sit? Pretty well got her leveled out at its fattest point. 27 inches. That's pretty husky, I think. Let's call this the top. Let's slab that off. Maybe it'll lead to some math. I'm picturing some blocks to wedge her on an angle, and we can pretty much tackle most of the outside with the band mill and then the chainsaw. Well, with any luck, this thing's gonna fire up. What got me kind of interested, I watched a video called The Birth of a Wooden Canoe, and proper craftsmen, they made a beautiful canoe out of a solid log over the course of many weeks, and it was a big process, beautiful. Not like what we're fabricating up here today, but I got lucky with the water. I left water in it, and as you can see by the white stuff on the ground, a little bit frosty out here. Try and cut these slabs off the top in thicknesses that a guy could actually lift, eh? I gotta park the tractor closer. There is no way that I'm lifting that. And it's a funny thing about wood. If this dirty old log was sitting in the woods, covered in moss and all gross looking, it'd be like, ugh, you know? Feel like, I wouldn't think nothing of it. You could burn the whole log. No one would say anything. You could cut up into firewood, no one would say anything, but that's a good use for it. What I find, if you cut it into a slab like that, and then chuck the slab into the scrap pile, oh, tragedy has struck. It's the same dirty old log. Well, it looks a little bit more like a boat than it did 20 minutes ago. You see the shape we're going for here? I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Big logs are not all they're cracked up to be. Everybody's drawn to the big wood, eh? You gotta get, the bigger the wood, the better. Well, I agree if you're cutting big timbers or you want big slabs, but make a man out of you. I shouldn't say there's no way to flip that. Where there is a will, there's a way. But in our way is a tractor. All right, so I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll roughly square up and in, and then we'll measure out and see what it looks like. Jeez, I fell right off the dang sawmill. Here, that looks better. Get all that nasty cuts out of there and stuff. Squared up-ish. It's only square if you check it with a square. If you just check it with your eyeball, always pretty square. Well, aside from nipping the steel rail of the sawmill with the chainsaw chain, that went pretty good. It didn't like that. Good thing I know where there's a place to get a lot more where that came from. All right, let me bring you up to speed because we've had to get a little crafty here. In order to be able to do that, I wanted to just, you know, because we're working with random measurements here, we need a set point, something to shoot for. It bugs me when I don't have anything to pull a reference off of, so I figured, why don't we do this? If we go from point to point, and we're more or less level, then when we run the band mill down there, it should cut point to point, take all that garbage off, and we'll end up with just a nice shapely boat. And then we'll kind of replicate on the other side, bit of a kickstand, so she'll hold herself up. Hopefully this takes the weight. How many yellow construction screws does it take to hold up a couple thousand pounds of wood? Should that stay? Well, moment of truth. You guys keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens here. Well, if I didn't know any better, I'd say we knew what we were doing. I didn't stick my fingers in there though. And the last thing I hope I didn't overlook, hopefully the mill goes high enough. I never really thought of that. Oh, with room to spare. Room to spare. 31 inches it'll go. How's it gonna go? Well, it's gonna go a direction, that's for sure. Worked pretty good. But here's how she come out. There's the end of the cut on this side, and there's the end of the cut on this side. So I'd say, like, dimensionally, when we pull a tape on all of this, well, it's more than close. It don't matter what you do, you should try and do it with just a snicker of craftsmanship. Because, well, because. All right, up on the sawhorses for the old switcheroo. I need it facing the opposite direction so I can use the forks on the tractor in the same fashion as before as a kickstand to let us secure it. So bit of finagling. Oh, and testing the strength of those wooden sawhorses. Definitely could have gone better. Glass half full, I don't have to worry about where I'm gonna store those sawhorses that don't fold. They took up a lot of space. Not gonna lie to you, that turned into a bit of a rigmarole, but yeah, back in the custom angle finding feature 7000 on the Timber Tough. One more cut. Then we start to shape like an artist with a paintbrush. In our case, more like a butcher with a knife. Look at that. Dead on the money. 14.5 inches. That's pretty good. Like I said, the only variable was on the first cut was we just had it butted up against that bark. But once you have a square edge and an angle figured out, it's easy to duplicate because, well, that's the beauty of math and angles. They don't lie. That's just works out. You wanted to know it was still a tree. Leave a little bark on it. Oh, that's good looking, eh? some sort of geometrical shape. You ever try to balance stuff just to see if you can do it, but it never seems to really work out? That tractor not touching, what the heck are the chances that a log that is that heavy would balance on that single point perfectly? Like, can we just appreciate that for a minute? Nothing is touching this log. Well, there you go. Fast forward 3 hours later, and I'm back at the project. I kind of got sidetracked. When guys want to buy tools, you help them out. Chainsaw mills, cant hooks, and a beautiful ox head axe they bought. So, look at that. Look at how symmetrical that is. We're really testing the limits of my knowledge of shipbuilding here, but I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna get real technical, is we're gonna find the center, and then from center, we're gonna cut back kind of the width of a chainsaw bar. I think that probably looks about right. Something like that. Kind of the shape. I guess you let it fly right up till the point you run out of fuel. The best part of waking up, soup mix in your cup. All right, folks, well, good morning. Seems like the boat's in good shape. We got the speed point on her last night, and I did a little bit of shaping like that, you know. I think that the boat round end's probably the ticket to go. Being that it's a flat bottom boat, we know exactly how deep it is. So, in the Dugout Canoe video that I watched, the professional craftsmen, they actually drilled holes in the bottom and drove colored dowels. They had dyed in ink, so that when you cut down to that depth, you knew you were there and you wouldn't blow out the side of the boat. I'd have no dowels, I have no dye, and I lack know-how. So the soup mix bar has got a real fancy depth stop marked on it here. Should be good to go. When you are milling with the grain, think of cross-cutting firewood. That's your regular run-of-the-mill chainsaw chain. If you want to cut the other direction, well, a ripping chain's the ticket. And well, I got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know. There's 13 or 14 boxes of rip chain there. Guaranteed one of which would fit that saw. Well, I mean, what kind of business sense does that make? I could be saving that chain for somebody else in the heat, so we'll just struggle along here. I was breaking my own rule there, eh? I forgot my flashy chaps. I'll tell you what, as my one-legged cousin would say, what you lack in legs, you gotta make up in personality, and he's a lot more outgoing than I am, so I think I'll wear the chaps. The soup mix can be unpredictable. pretty good. That works pretty good. I think I know what we gotta get. More tools. If more tools doesn't fix the project, at least it makes you feel better about having more tools. I'll be right back. Some are just stronger than others. Is all. Well, and let's see how much we're actually getting. Because it's 13 inches to the bottom. What do we got here? Survey says 9. That's pretty thick bottom boat, but better too far away than leaking out the bottom. I think it's a dugout boat. I think the canoe angle has sailed. Semi-traditional now, you know. The sawmill and the chainsaw definitely make it easier, but man, that's a sassy craft, right? The front's more like an art project rather than based on measurements and Sharpie marks because of the dang curvature. But we did come up a little fat in the bottom. But I mean, who doesn't like a little fat on the bottom, eh? So let's get the rest of this hollowed out. And with any luck, set sail on a voyage before winter grips us. Obviously, the worst case scenario here would be is that we poke a hole in the bottom of the boat, and then, well, then the video takes a whole turn from boat creation to boat repair, neither of which I know anything about. I don't think you'd be portaging that alone. Telephono. You know what happens with saws if you just keep ignoring them? Well, they stay broken. Now I got a saw with a broken pull cord. You know what's under this table? Another saw with the broken pull cord. Oh, I'll get to that, eh? He said, put it down there. 2 broken pull cords. This one, we zinged the old sawmill. I knew that was a problem yesterday. I thought, oh, well, should sharpen that chain. I'll tell you, it's borderline. Some of these teeth here, it really did a number on them. Nope, grabbed a different saw instead, eh? Way she goes, way she goes. And here we are in a pinch, fixing saws. Well, I'd say we're into the nitty gritty now. It's about as thin as I'm gonna make it. With the chainsaw anyways, I can definitely see why they had guide marks. Now, to flatten out the bottom, this is an adze. If you don't have an adze, head over to logbuildingtools.ca, search adze, and check out a fine selection. You won't find this baby on the website though. This, vintage, dating back decades and decades to the Canadian National Railway. My best buddy Lloyd got me this. Picked it up. I think he got it maybe at a swap meet or something like that. But a treasure. Now in this case, this is a straight adze, flat, right? Flat on the bottom. So if in our case, flattening out the bottom of our ship here, if you were, well, I mean really, let's put it this way, fellas. You see that tool, all right? They got them here, same as this handle in the store. Double recurve handle, makes it real comfortable to swing. Curved, straight, sculpting adze of different curvatures. Carving, shaping, flattening. If you got a classy beam that you just want to rough up a little bit so it looks like it was hand hewn and you don't have a broad axe, well, flat adze, a round adze, rough her up. Make it look like it came from the pioneer days. That works real good when they've been pre-cut with the chainsaw. Not always going to be the case, but it is today. I don't want to upset the boat before our maiden voyage. Alrighty, I think the chainsaw portion is done, and the digging out of the dugging out also can come to a conclusion. But we have one more fine traditional tool here. Don't mind the old juice cord attached to it. We're going with the theme powerful hand tools. The Arbor Tech Turbo Plane. Where did I get such a thing? I don't know if there was only such a website to locate. To clean up the saw marks. Just a hair. Why not? I feel like we're getting carried away, but you know how she goes. If it's worth doing once, it's worth doing right. Also not a tool to be fiddled around with. You want to be mindful of your fingers. So let's get in here, see what she does. I just kind of want to even it out a bit. That tool's amazing. It definitely tells you what it wants it to do and which way you should be dragging it across the grain, but look at that. I said we weren't going to take all the saw marks out, but look how good that looks. You got a little bit of work to do up front here. Dang, I'll tell you. Still looks like a boat to me. Whoop. Well, how about that? What once was a log that the tractor strained to lift, I'll tell you what, that looks about like any boat I've ever seen. But does it do what a boat does? Float and not leak. How are we going to test that? I don't know. It ain't exactly swimming temperature, so. I figure if we come this far, well, we may as well finish it off, see if the dang thing floats. We gotta take this, but I think it'd be more fun if we use this. Well, I can't say as I've ever had to modify a boat with a chainsaw to make a boat motor fit, but there's a first time for everything. Give her the old crank down here. Now that's fancy, boys. That is fancy. We should probably make sure it works today before we drive to a body of water. What's doing? Oh. Smells okay. I think somebody had the forethought to winterize that. Well, time to come out of retirement. Takes the same mixed go juice as the chainsaw. That's convenient. Choke. Start position. We shouldn't have to do anything else. Should just go. Place your bets in the comments. She float upright or upside down? I guess we're gonna find out. I got a little excited, that's all. Just a little too excited at the prospect of getting her on the open water. Oh boy, snug as a bug in a rug, eh? Look at this fine unit. Look at that. It's got that hewn look to it. That's the old Arbor Tech. Beautiful. Look at that. Right up to, oh. I'll tell ya, there ain't nothing better than that. Oh, what a nice day for boating, eh? Test the water here. Oh yeah. Definitely the temperature that you don't want to be standing in it. Hey, are we going for a swim? God, I hope not. Oh. It's still pretty heavy. I don't want it to smash. That's pretty good, eh? Yeah. It seems pretty tippy. I still feel like I want to put the motor on it though and try it. The motor? Yeah, I bought a boat motor. It's gonna be awesome. What's that? Did you say get wet? No, my boot though has a hole in it. That's unfortunate. I could do without the wet feet. Okay, I'm gonna take this just in case. I'm gonna have to walk out there a ways, I guess. Okay, you take that. And then I'm gonna leave my phone not in my pocket. Oh, it's real tippy. It's real tippy. Oh man, it's so tippy. Christ.
Somebody lives back there below the river.
Ready?
Yeah.
Huh? There's no zoom. Oh, it's so tippy. It's so tippy.
You're gonna have to move up a bit.
Is it? Whoa. Yeah, I gotta turn around. I can't run the motor like I could paddle it like a canoe this way, but I can't run the motor without being the other way around.
Oh, Dad, it's leaking.
No, that's just water I dumped. Okay. Oh, Jesus mercy. Hot wife. Oh,
Must have been putting in the wrong
fuck.
water.
Oh, it is wildly tippy.
Sweet smile. Your thumb's right in your face. Try it again. Put it.
Well, just film me when I started up here.
I thought you wanted a picture.
No, it's shorts. Look how tippy it is. It's crazy tippy, and it's not leaking. And we swamped her over the back. I honestly don't want to get that far away from shore. Oh, that's no good. Dicey, boys. Oh, maximum concentration here. Okay, we're gonna give her the juice. Oh, maximum concentration here. It is so freaking tippy. You know, I never thought I'd say this, but I don't even want to use all 2 horsepower of this motor. Oh man, I'll tell you, my butthole is puckered so tight right now because it's so tippy and that water is so cold. Alrighty. Well, as always, I appreciate you folks following along on these adventures. I don't know what the next adventure is going to be, but I know there's going to be one. For now, maybe we quit while we're ahead and dry.
Dad, how was it?
Oh my God, we didn't even drag the prop. And look at, all this wet is my knees a little bit. Well, it was fun, but I can't say that I'm not glad that it's over. That was an experience. Definitely wouldn't take a passenger.